Good evening, this is vk3sl. Welcome to another Missions, another late night session, and I'm very happy to have with me today Mr. Jamie and Mr. Frank. Welcome,
hello,
gentlemen.
Hello, Steve, and hello, Frank. Lovely to be here again.
Good evening, Jamie, Steve, and to the listener.
The highlight of my month is to come here, bring along a box of records and play them and chat about all things.
Indeed, it's a time-honoured tradition, and doing it face-to-face has a particular magic to it.
It's great.
It certainly does.
It does, yeah. So we've ensconced ourselves. We're settled into the into the booth here, and we've made all of the right adjustments, and we're ready to go. So what have we got? What's on the table? Jamie,
well,
you're DJing tonight.
I'm over to you, Jamie.
I'm turntable operator.
Yes, okay.
So,
I thought to get us started, we'll go back to the 1920s, and we're going to hear a private Columbia recording of the Mossman Musical Society. So, quite often, as well as releasing commercial recordings, it was quite possible to go and have something recorded privately. So occasionally you'll come across rare private recordings that were never sort of sold commercially.
Okay. Now this one seems like it's done at a venue, or they must have had a portable arrangement, or would have they done this in the studios, I wonder? I mean, it sounds like a choir, a bit of a choral.
I would have thought they would have had to have gone into the studio to do this.
Okay.
Because it's a fairly early Columbia. Was it PRX 112 or something?
Yep.
Which means it's probably about 1930.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about the group, the Mossman Musical Society. I guess perhaps originally it came with a cover, perhaps also something that gave you the information of who was in it, and probably those who are in the group probably would have got a copy of this.
Sure. No, it would have been probably a glee club or a musical society, and they would have had their...
Does it say on the label, see what it is?
Look, I'll have a look and see what extra information there is on this.
See if you can see what it says on there.
Decipher this. The Mossman Musical Society, under the direction of Ivan Rickson.
Oh, that's a well-known name.
Yeah, Favourites of Yesteryear, Part 1.
Ah.
So there we go. So this will be a nostalgia trip.
Yes.
And in the classic suburban glee club mode. So let's have a listen. vk3sl testing. very quaint. We heard the Ivan Rixon Glee Singers,
Yes.
or the Mossman Musical Group.
Soc-
I think that's what
The
the
Mossman Musical Society,
Yes.
and that would date from about 1930.
Okay.
Now, you looked up Ivor Rixon on
yeah,
the
look,
internet.
there's a few sort of anecdotal things. He made some records for Columbia. We think he might have had an association with the ABC, maybe
Yes,
later
yeah.
on. And but important figure in community music making in Sydney, no doubt. And they had quite a high standard, quite a vibrant group. A lot of players.
So I don't know who was in that. I'm sure there would be some very well-known people as part of that group.
Yes,
Yeah.
sounded very professional.
And there were a few solos, and
Yeah, it were.
quite a big group, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. No, it was quite a sizable group. So they would have all squeezed into the Columbia studios in
Indeed.
Sydney,
Yes.
shoulder to shoulder, singing away to their heart's content.
It was very reminiscent of the old Village Glee Club program on 3DB. Colin Crane used to host.
Who? Sorry,
Well, the
Colin
minstrel. So
Crane.
there was the minstrel program on 3DB that
Yes.
you might be thinking of, but there was also the Village Glee Club that was the ABC.
Was that the ABC? I beg
That was the
pardon.
ABC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. No, I was thinking of the definitely the Glee Club.
Okay.
Yes,
The Minstrels was something else again.
they went for a long time. The
It did,
Village Glee
yes,
Club.
that's right. It did. And Colin Crane, he used to sing in the choir. I know.
Yes, he did.
Mm.
And did he do the announcing and the?
Yes, he did. He was a well-known actor as
He
well.
certainly was.
Okay.
Yes.
Steve.
Good.
And he made some 78, Steve. I don't know whether you've seen any on the embassy. The Old Man River that comes to mind. And
yes, Colin Crane.
Here Comes the Showboat and things like that. There's a
Yep.
few little broadcasts that he
Sure.
recorded in the late 1920s.
Very
and
good.
very prominent. He was. And I've also got him acting in radio serials as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
good to hear.
Yeah, he was
Mr.
a good
Crane.
actor.
Yeah.
Well, we need to. So we are asking our brains trusts out there. We need information on Ivan Rixon, finding about what he's. There's a few anecdotes here, but there's not much other than discography lists and things like that at a glance. But yeah,
I'm
that's-
sure there were LPs around. I'm sure I've got LPs at home with the Ivan Rixon singers and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's significant about that record is it's so early. It's sort of
Yes.
1930.
About 1930.
Well,
yeah.
you know, that's a window into another time when I suppose, yes, community singing.
It's very nice when you come across private recordings like that you know you could never have bought.
Yeah.
And so often you come across very interesting artists, or that didn't record commercially, but they made recordings privately. So
Yeah, for sure. No,
and
look,
that was before the days of acetates or anything. So the only way you had to make a recording in those days was to go in and have one made.
Have a pressing.
have a
Columbia
special
or
pressing,
Vocalion or whatever.
well, something that wouldn't have been taken lightly, I imagine. It would have been very expensive to have that done.
yes, I'm sure Mr. L would know
Yeah.
more about the costs and things there, but
That's
no,
right.
it wasn't cheap.
Now
And,
this-
and you'd order a certain number of copies, I guess.
I think
Jane.
you had to have a limit. You could have, you might have had to have 20 at least or something like
however
that.
many they'd get from the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if all the members of the choir got one to
There'd be a few
to play on their Victrolas.
on there. That's right. Exactly right.
Yeah, well, that one's in very good condition, so whoever had that did look after it. Now, in my hand, I have an Australian Broadcasting Commission vinyl pressing from 1951.
Okay.
And
Is there a date on that,
it
Steve?
says the 13th of June, 1951.
Hmm.
And it's interesting. This is quite extraordinary because we have on the label, it says Australian Compositions, Australian Song Festival, it says. Is that right? Australian Song of Festival.
Of Festival.
Yeah, and it's Joan Sutherland. Joan Sutherland and Alex Bernard. It's an Alex Bernard composition.
Yes.
Well, so we'll hear Joan in 1951. Wow.
Wow.
This is something very special. Now, it's a 12-inch vinyl. We're going 12-inch tonight, aren't we?
We are so far.
Yeah, so far. So, yeah, we'll have a listen to this. This will be extraordinary, hearing Auntie Joan. And she would have been young. She would have been
Yes.
in her 20s at this point. It's a 78, so...
It would have been just long. She won the Mabel Quest.
Yeah, when
in
did she win the Mobile Quest?
1950.
Did she?
So yeah,
Wow.
It's got a lead in here. What's it say? It's good.
it's probably just a long groove.
No, I don't think it's announced.
I think it's a dud groove.
It might be just a blank cut. Here we go. It's in the groove now. Let's have a listen
Here's
to Joan.
Joan. There's Joan.
Yes, and youthful Joan Sutherland. She's in her early 20s there, and as you said, just shortly after she won the Mobile Quest. Now, we're just commenting that it's before she had the classic bloom in her voice, which we sort of so identify with Joan
Very
Sutherland.
much so.
So, yeah, she's a young, youthful, slightly naive. I don't know. It's interesting. She
would have been about 26 or 25 or something when she recorded that.
Yeah, but before she really developed that weight and that wonderful over that glow in her sound. Yeah. So she's now interesting. Australian compositions. This is music you never hear anywhere.
No,
really.
You won't. No.
And it's unique, and it's great that they took the initiative to record these things and to.
The ABC were very good. They went out and recorded all sorts of unknown compositions and all sorts of people that never recorded commercially made these recordings.
I think that was when the ABC was properly funded.
Ah, yes. Alex Bernard is the composer. Don't know anything about
Who's
Alex
the pianist, Steve?
Doesn't say. It doesn't tell us who's playing the piano on that. But a really fascinating snapshot of Joan Sutherland in her youth.
We might play the other side at some stage.
Yeah, well, the other side's a blank on this one, so we can.
Oh, is it? Oh.
I think you've got a couple of these here.
I have, yes.
But that was quite fascinating to hear. And recorded in Sydney on the classic Australian Broadcasting Commission label.
Yes.
And very good. That was really quite something special. Yes. And you heard it here on
here first. Yes. You heard it here first.
It's probably the first time it's been played since 1951.
Probably.
Yeah. So, for those who are unaware of what's going on here, this is vk3sl and company. We've got Frank, vk3jr, and we've got Jamie, collector extraordinaire, and we're just sampling some rarities here. I mean, real rarities. These are records that you will not hear anywhere else at any time because they come from this remarkable collection, Jamie. So we're grateful that you're sharing them with us. It's good. It's really good.
Is that something that's a little bit quaint?
Yeah.
Haven't we, Steve?
Oh, yeah, we do. We've got an acetate here. Now, this hasn't been checked. This is in the spirit of these missions as we play things spontaneously. Yes. We just sample things for the first time. We have no idea what we're going to hear. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's almost okay. It doesn't matter. It's all about the experience. And we're spinning real records on real turntables using real broadcast junk. And I have here a 7EX, the Examiner Station, Charles Street, Launceston, Tasmania. And it says a tribute to a prince. Narrators Peter Ross. Who was Peter Ross? Do we know?
I don't know.
Don't know who he is. Script Ross, producer H. Prince says. Okay, well, we'll have a...
Well-known people at the time on 7EX.
Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, all right. We'll get
wonder what 7EX...
I hope it plays all right.
We'll see.
7EX
I'm not sure if it's an outside or inside start, but we'll give it a whirl. Here we go.
Of that vast Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth of Nations, living as we do in the farthest corners of the globe, say with one voice and with heartfelt sincerity, Happy birthday, Prince Charles, and every happiness in the years that lie ahead.
well and we love so well, in dignity and freedom dwell. All world may change and go awry, while there is still one voice to cry. There'll always be an England, while there's a country lane. Wherever there's a cottage small beside a field of grain, there'll always be an England, while there's a busy street. Wherever there's a turning wheel, a million marching feet. Red, white and blue, what does it mean to you? Surely you're proud, shouting aloud, Britain's awake. The Empire too, we can depend on you. Freedom remains, these are the chains, nothing can break. There'll always be an England, and England shall be free. If England means as much to you as England means to me, there'll always be an England, while there's a country lane. Wherever there's a cottage small beside a field of grain, there'll always be an England, while there's a busy street. Wherever there's a turning wheel, a million marching feet. Red, white and blue, what does it mean to you? Surely you're proud, shouting aloud, Britain's awake. The Empire too, we can depend on you. Freedom remains, these are the chains, nothing can break. There'll always be an England, and England shall be free. If England means as much to you as England means to me.
For our royal contingency out there.
Yes.
So
It's not Peter Dawson, but it did sound like him, didn't it?
Yes, to start with.
It sounded like him at the start, but then, yes, a different character. And, how very patriotic.
Oh,
Happy
Jamie.
birthday, Prince Charles.
Yes.
I had no idea what it was.
I wonder how old he was when that was.
Yeah. Wow. There's no date on the label, is
It
there?
doesn't say. Now, the other side's got sort of shorter tracks. So
Shall we just play one and see what
let's see
it's...
what's on it?
Mm.
Let's find out. 7EX. And we'll just get the fader happening and in the groove.
Same spirit still.
This royal throne of kings, this sacred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise. This fortress built by nature for herself against infection and the hand of war, this happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in a silver sea, which serves in the office of a wall, or as a most defensive to a house, against the enemy of their happier lands. This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England.
Ooh. I hope you're all standing at attention out there in Radio Land. Yeah. What else is there on this? We'll try another.
Well, happy Christmas to you, Mum and Dad. I hope you've enjoyed my little recording. Don't be too critical, will you? Big cheerio to you, Bob. How are you, Bobby? Good, that's a start. And to Jenny too, how you like to work in the bank? Don't answer that. Well, cheerio to you. I'll keep writing. I'll keep in touch. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.
Well, there we go.
Oh, lovely.
Got someone with a very patriotic intent.
Yes.
Hasn't he ever?
Well, there you go.
Imagine sending that home to your mum and dad.
Yes. Narrator Peter Ross. So, Peter, if you're listening out there,
Yes. There you go.
you've certainly you've been revitalised.
Yes, you have.
There we go. So that's a very nostalgic.
Very interesting. I thought we'll come back to war because I have got a little segment on given that I won't be around for April.
Okay.
I thought we'd do something around for Anzac Day
Sounds good.
in advance.
Yep.
But I thought, Steve, we'd have another Australian compositions.
We can. And this is an AWA vinyl recording. And it says 2 songs of doubtful heritage. Number 1.
Not doubtful lyrics,
Yeah, doubtful heritage. Number 1, a nursery rhyme. It says Clements Q. Williams, baritone, accompanied by Enid Conley, composed by Lloyd Vick, V-I-C-K. Words anon. Published manuscript, side 1 of 2, recorded by the ABC in Adelaide.
Wow.
So, here we go. We've got a date on this one. It's the 19th of the 5th, 1954.
Wow.
So, let's see it.
There was a little woman, as I've heard tell, who went to market her eggs to sell. She went to market all on the market day, and she fell asleep on the king's highway. There came a little tailor whose name was Stout, who cut up a petticoat round about. He cut up a petticoat up to her knees, which made the little woman shiver and sneeze. Then the little woman, when she did wake, she began to shiver, she began to shake, she began to laugh, she began to cry. Lord, have mercy on me, this is none of I. If it is I, as I do hope it be, I've a little dog at home and he'll know me. If it is I, he'll wag his little tail. If it's not I, he'll bark and he'll wail. Up got the little woman all in the dark. Up got the little dog and he began to bark. He began to bark and she began to cry. Lord, have mercy on me, this is none of I.
Whoa! There we go. Those lyrics were starting to sort of go places, weren't they? Yeah. Okay. Well,
We might hear side 2.
I reckon it's worth hearing side 2.
Definitely.
These are songs of doubtful heritage. Number 2, it's called Tuesday. And we're hearing Clement Q. Williams. What's Q? What middle name would start with Q?
Quentin.
Mr. Clement Quentin Williams, baritone, accompanied by Enid Conley. Lloyd Vick composed this, but we don't know who wrote the words.
No.
Yes, it's anonymous. All right, here we go.
Side 2.
Side
coming
2.
up.
A sentimental eulogy was on its lyric way, when suddenly my conscience said, but this is ironing day, and why should any housewife whose worth the tinker's curse just shove the dishes in the sink and spend her time on verse? So while I in the pillow slips, I sought a glib reply. Whenever now we come to grips, I'll simply answer, why? Because it's rather pleasing in this efficient age to see one's thoughts all neatly rhymed and painted on the page.
There we go. That was an Australian composition,
It was.
and it was on an AWA vinyl pressing, a 10-inch vinyl pressing, and it featured.
And it's still was still spinning.
Mr. Williams, Clement Q. Williams, baritone. Where we go? We're going very.
Well, he did make some 78s on Parlophone.
Okay.
And I particularly remember, is it the same one? Let's Take a Trip to Melbourne, which I think was him
Okay.
in 1934.
Right. Yeah, and that was recorded in '54. And look, he's in good voice.
He was.
Very, very characterful.
Very
I like
much
that.
so.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, I'll put that aside now. We've got one here. We're sort of working things out here. Test pressing.
Yes, it finished too quickly.
Yeah, it did. Booget Jack says.
So what I've handed you is a Rex Stewart test pressing.
Ooh.
When he was out here.
of the street.
Song of the on the sunny side of the street, I think it is.
Oh, yes, it is.
And,
Well,
and the other side is what's on the other side?
this the one that says Booget Jack on the other side.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Well, certainly the sunny side of the street. I've got another one here that I want to play after that too.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Rex Stewart, of course, came out and had a close association with a bell band
He
when he
did.
came out.
Yeah.
And Rex Stewart from Ellington fame, very great trumpet
yeah.
player.
It certainly was.
And this is fascinating. Test pressings. Wow. So were these pressings for Parlophone or?
I think they
Or
were never commercially issued.
Yeah. With that.
No, they were probably Wilco or one of those companies at the time.
Okay, sure. Very good. All right. Well, let's have a listen to this. We're sort of changing gear. We're moving into the. This will be a real upbeat. So this might wake up a few people. Okay, ready for it, folks. Rex Stewart and Company. Test pressing. Well, that was a treat. a rarity, a test pressing for Wilco, made in the 1950s with the Sydney.
About 1950, yes.
Yeah, Sydney 6 is the name of the band, we assume, and it's with Rex Stewart, of course.
Out front, starring.
Yeah, he came out a few times, didn't he?
I think so.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay.
But particularly in 1949-50 when he toured with the Bell Band.
That's right, he did. Great playing, and wow, how about that? That's really special. Hearing test pressings here.
We've got two more tracks which we're going to play, which I think are great tracks. Which is it September in the Rain?
Yeah, we'll have a listen to September in the Rain first, and then we'll have a listen to It Don't Mean a Thing if it ain't got that swing. Yeah.
Lovely track.
Excellent. All right, let's have a listen to Rex Stewart in action. vk3sl testing.
The sun went down just like a dying ember in September in the rain. To every word of love I heard you whisper, the raindrops seem to play a sweet refrain. Though it's a long, long time, I will remember that September in the rain. Hey, the leaves of brown came tumbling down. Remember, yeah, in September in the rain. Say the sun went down just like a dying ember. La September in the rain. Now every word love I heard you whisper, la la la. The raindrops seem to play a sweet refrain, refrain. Though spring is here, it's still to me it's September. I'm talking about September in the rain.
Well, we're just sort of musing as to who the vocalist might be on that record. We're wondering, maybe it's Edwin Duff?
Yes, I'm sure it is Edwin Duff.
Yeah.
Sounds very much like him, doesn't it?
It does. These are completely fascinating. Test pressings, Wilco test pressings featuring Sydney jazz musicians in the early 1950s or late 40s even, maybe.
What does it say on the label?
It doesn't say much at all. In fact, it's just got pencil scribbled on the label. Let me put my specs on. It says, all it says is, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. That's all it says. And,
Wow.
and the side we just heard September in the Rain. Nothing else, no other information, no identifiers. So these are unique test pressings.
Indeed.
Extraordinary. And we assume they were never released commercially.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Well, let's have a listen to It Don't Mean a Thing. vk3sl testing.
Za za za, za za za, za za za, za za za. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. I said it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Jazz swing or bebop, hit that rhythm, give it all you got. Yo, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Bop the boo bop the bear. Oh you ye boo boo bop hey bop bop ba 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 It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Okay, there we
That
go.
surprised me. That ending.
Yeah, sudden ending. Yeah, unique material, and we were sort of wondering who the group might be. It's sort of I don't think there are any strings on that track. The other track certainly had a bigger group, and wow,
I know very little about it.
yeah, just interesting commercial. Well, not commercial arrangements. They're sort of very very Sydney. Really,
Isn't that a great arrangement though?
It's very tight, and I think the group sounds like they've been playing together for a while.
They do. It has that sense, and but it's sort of got that slight moving towards more contemporary styles, a little bit of bebop influence. As
Absolutely,
well.
yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
which
absolutely.
is good to hear.
Very Sydney sounding.
I thought so.
Yes.
I thought so.
Am I allowed to say that?
You can say that. I think there is a Sydney signature sound.
Yes, I think so.
Yes,
And I don't know. It's a very hard thing to pinpoint.
we say hello to all our Sydney listeners.
Yes, absolutely. But thanks for sharing those. They're really quite special, and they are test pressings, of course. So you'll hear them nowhere else.
No, not unless you hear this program again.
That's right. You have to listen on the stream if you want to re-listen. Now we have a program transcription dance medley of Hoagie Carmichael compositions.
Sort of stay in the jazz theme.
Yeah, it's as good. Now, this is one of these RCA transcription, 10-inch transcription records. Is it 33? Or is
Yes, it is. I think, yes, it would be 33.
Yeah, okay. And these, this is quite fascinating.
About 1932.
Yeah. These are really interesting, these records, and they're early 33s, and they actually feature Mr. Carmichael himself, and Dick Robertson as well, and also Carmichael vocaling on Washboard Blues and Stardust. I look forward to hearing this. It's topped and tailed with Stardust.
You've not heard it before, Steve?
Look, I might have. I think it's on YouTube, but this is just amazing to actually hold the real disc. it's this sort of stuff.
Yeah, they're a passion of mine collecting those.
Yeah, they're rare as hen's teeth, and we certainly wouldn't see them in Australia. And so, what's the provenance? What would have been a local radio station?
No, I picked these up from overseas.
Oh, okay. You brought
Yeah,
them out. Wow.
yes.
Okay. Well,
As you sometimes have to if you want something.
yes. If you
Only way you can get it.
Okay. Well, we'll try this out. 33. I think the speed's stabilised, and let's have a listen. VK3SL testing.
of the night, beneath the moon's mystic light, while my arms held you tight, I sang that was filled with romance, felt the thrill of the dance. Then I knew of my chance, oh wind, in my heart's great delight, I found love in its height, in the still of the night, with you.
Raggedy clothes, muscly clothes, grimy clothes, that's all I know. Up and down, back and forth, all year long. Oh Lordy, won't you hear my song, hear my song. Up to the washing soap and down to that water once more. Up to the washing soap and down to that water once more. Keep rubbing, keep scrubbing, keep rubbing, keep rubbing them old dirty clothes. Up to the washing soap and down to that water once more. Washboard blues.
Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain, my slightest melody, the memory of love's refrain.
A fantastic recording.
Yeah, look, it's unique stuff. And,
Yes, I am. Yep.
Yeah, it's fine. To hear Stardust played at that tempo, it's like a completely different composition. And that's the composer.
It probably predates the commercial release.
Or it may well do. That's quite an extraordinary thing to contemplate, really, when you think of... and when you think of how enduring a lot of Hoagy Carmichael's music became, and what an important figure. Now, we was also sort of speculating as to who the members of the band, we think maybe...
Eddie Lang, Frankie Trumbull.
Yeah, it sounds like there could be a number of Whiteman musicians in that recording. And, of course, Hoagy Carmichael made quite a few records with Paul Whiteman, or under his auspice at least. So,
Are they in the 30s more on the HMV label, am I thinking?
At
the time of Ramona...
Yeah, Hoagy Carmichael made a number of recordings at Bix in his last years, 1930,
Oh, did he?
31.
Oh.
And 1930, Bix stopped recording the year before his death. But but it's definitely him singing on that as well. So,
Well,
transcription material.
indeed.
These are fascinating, these records. So they're RCAs and they're program transcriptions on 10-inch records, but at 33. It would have to be the first period that 33 was used
I'm
commercially.
trying to imagine playing that with a steel needle.
I know. It's quite... maybe they were only ever played on... they would have to be.
Yeah.
No, they'd have to be played on
They'd have to be played with a steel needle.
Yeah, so they've lasted really well. We've got another one.
Yes.
Another one.
This one's with Gus Arnheim. It's of the same period.
Yeah, so it says popular
Popular.
selections,
It's getting
waltzes. Yeah, it certainly is. Missouri Waltz, down by the old mill stream and the Naughty Waltz. That's the one I like.
Nice.
And who's the vocalist, Steve?
Buddy Clark.
Oh, wow.
Buddy Clark's singing on these. So let's get into the waltz mania, and let's hear what's happening.
Here we go.
Gus Arnheim there, and the orchestra with Buddy Clark. And a whole lot of nice waltzes.
We've been reminiscing about dancing experiences.
Yes.
In our youth.
That's it.
That's right.
Yeah, the proverbial, yes, the grade 6 experience with the girl with the wet hands. Or
and some very interesting definitions about the modern waltz.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Many quite vibrant interpretations.
Yes.
Yeah. So
dear.
transcriptions, we're listening to a number of these at the moment. These are Victor transcriptions from the early 30s, early days, and some of the very first 33 and a third
Indeed.
discs.
It was sort of more experimental than anything.
Yeah.
And we have one more, Steve, that we'll play.
We've got one more. We're going a bit more upbeat again.
Yes, Isham Jones, I think, this time, isn't it?
It is, and it's with the vocal refrains by Frank Hazard. Yes, and it says on this one, use chromium orange needles only.
Wow.
We're fresh out of chromium orange.
We haven't got any chromium orange left, I'm sorry to say. We're on, what is it, prosciutto or something. So,
Something like that.
anyhow, we'll have a listen to it. This is a Canadian pressing, but a Victor disc, of course, and Isham Jones was a very highly...
Indeed.
Here we go. Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Chromium orange.
Chromium orange, Mr. Frank. That's what it is.
Mr. Frank, good evening.
Good evening, Frank. How are you?
I'm very, very well, to be frank.
Yeah. Yes, thanks for chiming in. Yeah, chromium orange. So that's what we all have to consume, our chromium orange before listening to this. So popular selections and what does it say? A Million Dreams, a little street where old friends meet. That's a famous song. What would happen to me if something happened to you? Don't know that one. Anyhow, Isham Jones. Let's cut to the chase. I'm leaning over here because our queuing system's not working very well. But who cares? vk3sl testing.
Above me has seemed to say, someday you'll love me, I'm only dreaming, but let me keep on dreaming a million dreams of you. tumble down. But it means a lot to folks in my hometown. Although I'm rich or poor, I still feel sure I'm welcome as the flowers in May. It's just a little street where old friends meet and greet you in the same old way.
Isham Jones, and our selection there, Victor.
With Frank Hazard.
Yeah, we're talking about, we've got lots of Franks in our midst at the moment.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm one, but I'm not a hazard.
Nor am I, fortunately.
Yes. Well, we have to give our Franks a Guernsey.
Indeed.
Yeah. The Franks are the glue to these missions.
Yes.
So, program transcriptions. So it's great to hear these because they are rare as hen's teeth and you just never see them in Australia. And you imported these.
Yeah, I've bought them over the years when I've seen them available.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. All right, well, we've got something we're moving
We're moving into the radio sphere.
That's right. So this is sort of almost contemporary. Well, not really, but...
well, what's the first one, Steve? It's a Macquarie 45, isn't it?
It is a Macquarie 45, and it just says review 62. So
it's a 2GB.
2GB review. Let's have a listen. You heard it on 160 metres and 2 metres. No, yes, we are on 2 metres tonight, and that's a review. Review 62, it says, and that's a
2GB.
2GB 45.
So that would be the theme.
RPM acetate.
Locally recorded, I would say.
Yeah. Oh,
and
good. Tonight. Oh, that's good. You don't see 45 acetates very often.
No, you
it's
don't.
A little bitty acetate.
As long as it's not falling apart, that's when you start to worry about
that's
it.
right. No, this one's in very nice condition, and we've got a few of them here. So we're going to go through the pile. And this one is StarTime voiceover promo.
Now this could be interesting.
It could be. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Is
It's
this on
another
the 2GB?
another 2GB special. We've got both sides here. Now we'll listen to track 1. And
Here we go.
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Into the groove.
Hello world, this is John Lawrence. Stairway to the Stars. That's the theme of our show, and it's also the format. Every week on Star Time, we showcase some of the very finest Australian performers, talented new faces, together with personalities whose names are already a household word in show business. We look forward to having your company this Saturday night at 7:30. Until then, you be kind to each other.
Let's build our stairway to the stars. A lovely stairway to the stars.
Okay, well, that's John.
Do we want to play the other side? Is that different?
So we just when did he start? When did John Lewis start?
He started in the 50s, about 54, I think.
I remember him in 50, certainly 57. No doubt he was going well before that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
He was.
Incredible career, and even then, you can hear that voice, can't you?
You can, the golden...
1962, so that's going
tonsils.
back nearly 60 years.
He's still going.
Incredible, isn't it?
He's on 2SM.
Oils ain't oils, huh?
Yeah, oils ain't oils. Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Okay, well, let's see how we go. StarTime voiceover promo, side 2, and let's have a look. Whoops.
Might be the same.
Let's build our stairway to the stars.
Hello world, this is John Lawrence. We'd like to have you join us tonight at 7:30 for television's Stairway to the Stars and fine entertainment. Star Time. We've got many of Australia's finest artists together with some very exciting new personalities. Join us tonight at 7:30 for Star Time. Until then, be kind to each other.
Let's build our stairway to the stars. A lovely stairway to the stars.
How smooth is that?
There you go.
Beautiful.
I wouldn't mind hearing that program
Yeah, StarTime.
with Australian talents. That's
Stairway to
1962.
the Stars, yes.
Very good. These are extraordinary.
What's the next one,
There's
Steve?
more.
Right.
Got a whole stack of these 45s. This one is opening theme with voiceover 2GB today.
All right, I don't know anything about it.
All right.
First thing in the morning,
This
possibly.
is the place to
Breakfast
discover.
session.
Okay. Could be. Let's see.
This is ATN Channel 7 in Sydney, the live one. Time now for Sydney Today with Bruce Webster.
That's the opening
Yeah. Very good. Well,
with Bruce Webster, of course, a well-known name too.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is it closing on the back, or is that single
no,
side?
that's a single-sided disc. So we'll
Well, now we move on to something very special, Steve. This is a 3KZ disc,
yeah,
and we're going to hear both sides.
Oh, terrific. Let's which one first? Is
Well, you want to say side A?
they're not labelled.
Right. Well,
It just says Hardy on one side, and CWG 6015 on the other. 3KZ. Maybe I'll just play the side that says 3KZ first, eh?
yes. We'll
Okay.
play both sides.
Yeah.
This is very interesting, and it's kind of fairly historical in relation to 3KZ.
Okay.
This is 3KZ Melbourne, the brighter broadcasting service. Listen.
It's 3KZ here in Melbourne, your favorite station in town. The music you like is the music we play, the top of the news as it happens each day. So for the best in radio here in Melbourne, Just remember it's station 3KZ.
Yes, that's us, we hope. Little us, 3KZ Melbourne, the brighter broadcasting service, 30 years old this year. We know that those of you who were listening to us back in 1930, and those who were born much more recently, all like to be sure what station you're listening to when you're several rooms away. So we've had some American experts prepare some little melodies for us which we can play throughout our programs every so often. They'll be helpful to you because you do get around. And we get around too, don't we? We bring you news from everywhere.
This is the station that brings you the nation's top interviews every day. From every walk of life to you. Industry, politics, theater, and the world of sport too. And on Sunday nights, don't miss the voice of the Voyager on 3KZ. Your way ahead. Listen to 3KZ.
Today in radio, service with a friendly smile is our motto. That word service covers a wide field. Huge amounts raised for charity, frequent time announcements, and hourly, or even oftener, reports on the weather.
The weather is something we've always got, but like the music, it's cool and hot. So if you're wondering what the Weather Bureau said, be listening on the hour to 3KZ.
Now here's one you'll all enjoy about a very popular personality, indeed, who controls our morning programs from 9 o'clock onwards.
He's off to the office, the kids have gone to school. Think I'll just relax now, 'cause all I have to do is wash the dishes, sweep the floor, make the beds, go to the store, take the laundry, fix my hair, dust the shelves. I do declare I just don't know.
May I offer a suggestion that I know will lighten your chores?
Leave your dial, get set to smile with 3KZ and the Norman Swain Show.
We made mention a few moments ago about that vast army of younger listeners, a very important group of people indeed. And I warrant they'll all be whistling this happy tune about their favourite disc jockey ere long.
This is the Platter Parade.
This is the Platter Parade. This is the Platter Parade. This is the Platter Parade. Let's go! The music is swinging and swaying round, and the records he plays have got the happiest sound. Everyone's 10 feet off the ground. It's the Stan Roll Show. Grab your partner and take the floor. The beat is something that you can't ignore. If you like the music, then you know for sure it's the Stan Roll Show. You'll hear the tunes that made the grade on the Platter Parade. It's the Stan Roll Show.
Yes, Stan Roast will be introduced at 5 o'clock each evening in Platter Parade by that engaging melody. Now, here's a melody which is just what the doctor ordered. Start the day right and you're right all day. That famous breakfast medico, Dr. Ron Cady, completely agrees with this thought.
You will start your day with a smile when you set your radio dial to 3KZ. You'll be off the mark and miles ahead. Each morning wake with the sun. Set your dial for listening fun. 3KZ is ready to go with the lighter, brighter breakfast show.
To conclude, we're giving you a preview of one of these new melodies of ours, and one which you'll be hearing a great deal all through the winter season.
Collingwood, South Melbourne, Hawthorne, St. Kilda, Fitzroy, Richmond, Carlton, Geelong, Melbourne, Footscray, North Melbourne, Essendon.
It's football time again. The crowd is roaring for their team to win. We hope your favorites kick the sweep today. We'll bring the games right away.
When you hear the umpire's whistle blow,
then you know we're ready to go for you and for you. Your first station for football is 3KZ.
This is the Brighter Broadcasting Service Station 3KZ Melbourne, a part of Melbourne's way of living since 1930. Now, in our 30th year, we at 3KZ are confident you'll appreciate all these new melodies of ours, designed to ensure you're tuned to your favourite station anytime and all the time.
Listen to 3KZ.
And now we'll turn it over.
We will. That is gold.
Isn't that lovely?
It is, literally,
Yeah.
Literally, but it's...
that's really one out of the bag, Jamie. Yeah, that...
It's a little, it's great. It's a little
gold.
W&G 40. It's a W&G 45 that, of course, you couldn't buy.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's unique material, and
Isn't
it's
it?
just so Melbourne.
Yeah,
Totally.
And as you say, that the new song format.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it. That's it.
all those American jingles that were big in the 1960s.
Yeah.
But it's just such a great evocation.
Yeah, yep.
It says everything about the era.
It does. It does.
Here we go with side 2.
Very.
This is Rod McLeod, your 3KZ news reporter, with a news flash direct from the Age teleprinter. On Monday, May the 2nd, 1960, at 2 p.m., 3KZ, the Brighter Broadcasting Service, will introduce the Big Sound.
Yes, it is big news, very big news, that the Big Sound comes to 3KZ on Monday, May the 2nd at 2 p.m. The Big Sound is the cinerama of radio, the biggest thing in radio's history. The Big Sound is not just a vague title, but it has the big sounds to back it up.
This is the Big Sound.
Yes, the Big Sound has big names, big listener potential, and we know big sales for you, the sponsor. But first things first, I said big names. During the 2 hours of its presentation between 2 and 4, Monday to Friday on 3KZ, listeners will hear the voices of film stars every few minutes. Stars coming right into the housewife's kitchen or lounge room per medium of the Big Sound. We would like you to meet some of the stars who will be with me from 2 to 4, Monday to Friday, commencing May the 2nd.
This is Jimmy Stewart and...
Debbie Reynolds.
This is Bill Holden and...
Peggy Lee.
This is George Burns and...
Judy Garland. I'm Ann Blythe.
Howdy, I'm Fess Parker, and my friend here is...
Mitzi Gaynor.
This is Edmund O'Brien and...
Julie London.
This is Liberace and...
Elizabeth Scott. This is Rhonda Fleming and...
I'm Gary Cooper.
This is Jim Backus with... I'm Mr. Magoo.
This here's the Thin Singer and...
Nat King Cole.
This is Jeff Chandler.
This is Andy Griffith.
This is Eddie Fisher.
This is Natalie Wood speaking. This is Ella Fitzgerald.
This is Mel Blanc.
What's up, Doc?
The big listening potential comes from the personalized approach of Hollywood's big stars. They draw your attention to the weather reports, the time, and in some cases, introduce their own albums. The old saying that everybody talks about the weather but nobody does anything about it was true prior to BS, Big Sound. 3KZ has done something about the weather, not about changing it, but they've done a lot about the announcing of it. Listen. Remy Martin time at 3KZ is 4 o'clock.
This is Julie London, Mr. Weatherman. What's the current temperature?
Well, the current temperature, Julie, is 65 degrees. You may as well hear the rest while you're here. The immediate forecast is fine. Mild to warm day, southwesterly winds, and slight seas on the bay.
That's what I thought.
Yes, nice, isn't it? Remy Martin brandy, you know, Julie, will refresh and stimulate you with its superlative taste. Brandy at its best. Remy Martin brandy. Julie, while you're here, how about a song?
Well, here's one of my recent records that I hope you'll enjoy hearing. Should fit your mood nicely.
Once I had a man, sweet as he could be. Once I had a man, and he was oh so right for me.
But of course, gentlemen, you're interested in what we'll be doing for you, the new clients. Al Jolson said in 1928, "Man, you ain't heard nothing yet." He was naturally anticipating the big sound coming to 3KZ on May the 2nd, 32 years later. But the saying is true today. You ain't heard nothing yet until you hear a few examples of what we plan to offer to new clients. Here is one of them, a thought for the day.
This is Jimmy Rogers with a thought for today. There are 2 books that should be in every home. The Bible, which tells of the miracle of God, and a seed catalog, which proves it.
All you have to do is speak to our representative, and he'll tell you how you can have your name linked with a different film star every day for 5 days a week. Yes, all you have to do is talk to our representative. Speaking of talking to people, how's this one from Tony Randall?
When you argue with a fool, be sure he isn't similarly occupied.
As you can see, gentlemen, there's a great variety in the thoughts expressed. Perhaps your taste may go to a 15-minute program featuring the singing and speaking voices of some of the biggest names on record and film. This program will bring to the listeners the personal introduction by stars of their own recordings. I'll be there delivering your message because I'll have the star helping me.
What?
Sorry, me helping the star. Let's take a small sample.
This is Rock Hudson.
What's the next record, Rock?
And the next record is titled Pillow Talk, from the picture of the same name, starring Doris Day and yours truly. And now I wonder who sings it.
Who else but your co-star, Doris Day?
Pillow talk, another night of hearing myself talk, 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 talk. Wonder how.
Throughout the day and night, 3KZ will constantly bring to the attention of listeners the fact that the big sound is heard between 2 and 4 Monday to Friday. And in a subtle way, this is more or less drawing attention also to your announcement, which will be included in that 2 hours. But our publicity department is not going to write the standard station plugs. Oh no, the big sound does it for us. Or I should say, the stars do it for us, like this.
This is Mel Blanc speaking from the station with a big sound in radio.
The big sound, all year round, big sound.
This is Nat King Cole, and you are tuned to the right spot for the big sound in radio.
Hi, this is Peggy Lee, reminding you that you're tuned to the big sound all year round.
Gentlemen, the big sound is far too big a project to condense to this short 6 minutes. Can you afford 20 minutes? We have prepared a taping for busy advertising executives, which takes just 20 minutes. And it suggests many ways in which 3KZ's big sound can be tailored for you. Would you care to telephone our representative now to hear
The Big Sound?
The big sound.
Such hubris. Of course.
Well, the abbreviation DS has different connotations these days.
Yes,
that's true.
It does indeed, Frank. Yeah. So, of course, the big sound has moved to 160 metres on a
totally.
Yes,
that's right.
That's right. Happening radio.
There you
Absolutely,
go.
yes.
So that would have been especially for
Now
the...
belongs to 3SL.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I've taken the mantle here.
Yes.
This is bolstering my ego. So what an unbelievable document. It says everything in one package. You have the whole, the
60s all wrapped up.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
You do. It's the station
radio.
identifier.
It's odd when you hear about a radio station being 30 years old, when you think that, you're much older than 30 years yourself. And you.
Yes, that's right.
It's a bit bizarre.
It is. Oh, that's absolutely priceless. And you'd never know. You look at this unlabelled 45.
Yes.
That's priceless.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, We3. Tell us about We3.
So this is for your mum, Steve.
Oh, I hope she's out there.
I hope she's listening. Yeah. And I know she has fond memories of John McMahon.
Yes.
This is a 3Z program. Dates from the late 40s, sponsored by Cadbury's, and it's with Eula Parker.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, John McMahon lived next door to my mom. So,
and of course, he was around 3Z for many, 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 many years. Involved, he was studio manager, program manager, and announcer. Oh, yes. And of course, radio auditions he hosted for 36 years or something.
Yes,
Are you an artist?
A lot of singing himself.
Yes, lovely singer.
Yes,
lovely
he was.
Singer.
Yeah, he had a great voice.
He did.
Okay, well, let's have a listen to this transcription. I think we're right.
Every time. Introducing We3. Johnny McMahon,
Beulah Parker.
With Margot Sheridan at the piano. A cup of Cadbury's Born Vita, and so to bed. Yes, that's the good night story, followed night after night by thousands of people everywhere. Sleep, to be of real value, must be sound and refreshing. You should wake up next morning feeling fit, bright, and alert, ready to bound out of bed with a smile. That's why a cup of Cadbury's Born Vita before bed is so valuable. It helps you to the right kind of sleep. The sleep that replaces the energy you've burnt up during the day, providing at the same time the vital reserves so necessary for your system to draw on even while you're sleeping. Born Vita, remember, is all goodness. For it's made from barley malt, eggs, full cream milk, and chocolate. 4 ingredients rich in vitamins, minerals, and phosphorus. Try it for yourself. Born Vita, with a Cadbury name for quality. Well, did you enjoy the dance the other night?
Oh, I loved it, didn't you?
Oh, of course.
Dancing's my favorite pastime.
Mine too. You know why?
Dancing is another name for love.
That's right.
Every night in dreams my arms are oh so tight about you.
Dancing makes it come true. Dancing is another name for love.
When the moon is shining up above,
what happens?
In my heart I wonder if I dare to start a romance.
Well, why not? Dancing gives me a chance. Dancing is another name for love.
Oh, I've been waiting,
hesitating.
Mr. Rhythm told me dance and I am with him. I'm as timid as a turtle dove, till the music plays and then the sways are making me feel
all I try to conceal. Dancing is another name for love.
Yes, I've been waiting,
hesitating.
Mr. Rhythm
told me dance and I am with him. I'm as timid as a turtle dove, till the music plays and then the sways are making me feel all I try to conceal. Dancing is another name for love. You know, there's no doubt about it. You were the best dressed girl at the dance.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
No, but you'd think it.
Pardon?
I said, well, I think it.
Oh, it's sweet of you to say so, Johnny. It must have been the new look,
Yeah, that's what it was. It suits you.
Beds, shoulders, hips padded. Here they have taken off, and here they've added. Matron and Miss are certain of this. They've got to struggle through that new look. Low necklines, they've got them. What they snip off the top goes on the bottom. That's how they get that new silhouette. From chapeau down to shoe, that new look. Fashion decreased, invisible knees, and sanctions effects more ethereal. Dowagers claim the trend's more spiritual, but the dressmakers know it's more material. So that's how this game works. Just fresh upholstery on the same old frameworks. Bustle and wired, and yet they've acquired that stunning, gay, exotic, just to look. That new look. Fashions decrease, invisible invisible knees, and sanctions effects more ethereal. Dowagers claim the trend's more spiritual, but the dressmakers know it's more material. So that's how this game works. Just fresh upholstery on the same old frameworks, bustle and white, and yet they've acquired that stunning, gay, exotic, just to look, that new look. Johnny, now I come to think of it, you didn't dance one rumba with me.
Well, honey, you know you can't rumba.
Well, I'm not that bad. Anyway, you can rumba too well, they say.
Rumba too well? Why?
Well, if you're not careful, people will be calling you a gigolo.
Ha ha! I should care.
Just a gigolo, everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance, every night some heart betraying. There will come a day youth will pass away, then what will they say about me? When the end comes, I know they'll say just a gigolo as life goes on without me. Just a gigolo, everywhere I go, people know the part I'm playing. Paid for every dance, selling each romance, every night some heart betraying. There will come a day youth will pass away, then what will they say about me? When the end comes, I know they'll say just a gigolo as life goes on without me.
Johnny, if I concentrate hard enough, will you teach me to rumba?
Well, I might for a small fee.
Gigolo's right.
Now, don't get me wrong. It's just that I'll have to have the money to buy a new pair of shoes after you've finished walking all over my feet.
Well, I like that. I'll have you know I'm as light as a feather.
Maybe so, but look, your rhythm is all wrong.
Well, show me then.
All right, but we won't stop with the rumba. Margot, would you play something slow, please? And I'll show this Ginger Rogers a thing or two.
All right.
know, you're a much better dancer than I thought you were.
You really mean that?
I do.
Then you'll teach me to Roomba?
As soon as you like, but don't forget. Concentrate on rhythm.
Oh, I will. I can tell that it's necessary.
Good girl.
Without rhythm, you couldn't learn to dance without rhythm.
You never stand a chance without rhythm. There wouldn't be romance.
'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round.
Without rhythm, the trains would never go without rhythm.
I know. A crew would never roll without rhythm. The day would never go. 'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round. Without drums to keep time, you can never keep step.
There would never be pep in a parade. Without drums to keep time, without the rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
Rat-a-tat-tat-tat, any bugle is flat when it's played.
Without rhythm, a poet couldn't rhyme without rhythm.
You couldn't tell the time without rhythm. You never hear a chime.
'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round.
Without rhythm,
Yeah,
you couldn't learn to dance without rhythm.
that's what I keep telling you. No rhythm, you haven't got a chance.
I know I haven't a chance. 'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round.
Without rhythm, why, the trains would never go without rhythm.
I know. A crew would never roll without rhythm. The day would never go.
'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round.
Without drums to keep time, you can never keep step.
There would never be pep in a parade. Without drums to keep time, with a rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
Any bugle is flat when it's played.
Without rhythm, why, a poet couldn't rhyme without rhythm.
You couldn't tell the time without rhythm. You never hear a chime.
'Cause rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round. Yes, rhythm is the thing that makes the world go round. You know, Eula, rhythm's all right in its place. But at night, when you're feeling a bit weary and worn, sleep's the important thing. And so many people these days don't seem to get proper benefit from their sleep. Wake up in the morning still tired and listless. For such people, a cup of Cadbury's Born-Vita before bed is just the thing. You see, Cadbury's Born-Vita helps nature in its overnight task of building up the fresh reserves of energy your system needs, sufficient to carry you through the night in scientifically sound sleep and to provide you with the fresh reserves for the new day. Cold weather, make your Born-Vita nightcap with warm milk. Hot weather, take it in the form of a refreshing Born-Vita milkshake made with icy cold milk. It's equally good, hot or cold. Born-Vita, with a Cadbury name for quality. And so comes time for us to say goodbye. Till next time, this is Johnny McMahon.
And Eula Parker.
With Margot Sheridan at the piano saying, goodbye for now.
What a fabulous program.
Yeah.
Margot Sheridan, of course, I didn't mention before, the resident pianist at 3KZ, and was such a great help to so many over many years. Very supportive. And you think about the P&A Parade and all those other programs that she was involved with.
Yes.
No, it's really, really well done. I mean, they're obviously, well-seasoned performers. And she went on to England, didn't she?
She did.
Yeah.
And did quite well on television over there, and had quite a good career, successful career over there.
Good on her.
And if anyone's interested, there's been some uploads of Eula Parker video film of her in London in the 1960s. It's up
there was
on the tube.
Yeah, I think there was a program called Lunchbox Varieties or something that she was part of. Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very talented, lovely voice, and very talented sisters. There was Eula, Marie, and Pat as part of the Parker sisters.
The Parker sisters, yeah. No, we've featured them a few times, and it'd be good to find out a little bit more about their sort of independent history. So it would be a subject worth fleshing out.
Well, as far as I know, I haven't seen any recordings of Pat or Marie on their own, only Eula.
Okay, because didn't the other sisters continue at 3DB afterwards in some capacity without Eula?
Well, Eula was involved with the Happy Gang. I don't know that they did.
Right. Okay.
One of them might, Maria might, one of them might. I just don't. I mainly recall hearing of Eula.
Yeah, sure.
She seemed to be sort of the main one.
Yeah, lovely synergy with Mr. McMahon.
Oh, they worked beautifully together, didn't they?
They did.
Just a Gigolo, one of my favourite Bing Crosby recordings, was a great rendition.
Yes, he did it very, very
He made a big hit out of that song.
He certainly did, yes.
Just to see.
Yes, indeed. Lovely.
So, we're ready for another gear change.
So, we're now going to, you were talking about Easter and Good Friday and all that coming up. And because I won't be on in April, around Anzac Day, I thought we'd do a little something for Anzac Day and sort of, commemorating that and more time. So I pulled out a few interesting Department of Treasury recordings from the 40s. These are sort of propaganda recordings from the time, and these are all process recordings. Now, what's the first one, Steve?
Yeah, I'll just let you know.
It's this little bond went to battle.
Yes,
I think it is.
It is.
Barbara James with Albert Fisher and the orchestra.
Sounds fascinating.
Once upon a time, there was a nursery rhyme that gave the kids a chuckle and a smile. Now its words are changed, it's all been rearranged to serve a purpose even more worthwhile. This little bond went to battle. This little bond fought at home. This little bond bought a Spitfire plane, and this little bond built a drone. This little bond built a lifeboat that crossed the stormy foam. Till the job is through, they've a lot more work to do to bring the boys back home. This little bond went to battle. This little bond fought at home. This little bond helped to keep the jazz away from your loved ones at home. This little bond bought the tucker and the guns for the boys from Kokoda to Wow. Every bomb's a blow on the road to Tokyo, so stop to buy bonds now.
Buy a bond, and by the bonds you buy will bring you victory. Buy a bond, and you'll be standing by the victory arch when Johnny comes marching home again. You should need no request, for after all, you know that you're investing in the best till the lads come back again, back the old attack again, and buy bonds. This is no time to say you've done enough. This is the time to really do your stuff. And even if you can't be a soldier in the ranks, you can be the bloke to help supply the guns and planes and tanks. This is the time for you to do your best. This is no time for you to take a rest. The enemy is reeling and his morale is low. So now's the time to fall in line and deal the final blow. So buy a bond. And by the bond you buy will bring you victory. Buy a bond. And you'll be standing by the victory arch when Johnny comes marching home again. You should need no request. For after all, you know that you're investing in the best till the lads come back again, back the old attack again, and buy bonds.
Well,
propaganda.
Isn't that propaganda plus?
It certainly is on steroids.
Yes,
with a capital P.
I don't even dare echo the comments.
I know. Yes, it could get us into trouble.
It could.
Yeah.
There you go. 1943, 44 there.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, they were desperate times.
That's right.
Incredible material. These are from quite a collection of this type of thing, don't you? You found a...
Yes, I did. A big collection of early sort of advertising material, including a lot of war propaganda material.
Yeah, well,
which included a lot of these discs. And we've got another one which is Any Bonds to Buy. But I should just say that last one was, I think it was George Brown was the vocalist with... I'm not sure who the orchestra was, Steve.
Albert Fisher.
Albert Fisher.
And these are Columbia Process recordings. And this one was this one includes the ABC Orchestra with Harold Williams.
Oh, this will be good.
Harold Williams, yes.
This will be great. Any Bonds today.
Australian name, Any Bonds
today.
Right, into the process.
This will be good.
vk3sl testing.
Any bonds today, bonds of freedom, that's what you're buying. Any bonds today, scrape up the most you can. This is your fighting man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today. Any stamps today, lend your might, it all helps to fight and keep the Japs away. Brave though the fighting man, he can't make tomorrow's plan, not unless you buy a share of freedom today. The Aussie with the felt hat and the smile upon his face will now be needing all your help, 'cause he's going someplace. The Aussie with the felt hat will be getting on his way, settling Nippon's hash, but he needs your cash. Any bonds today, any bonds today, bonds of freedom, that's what you're buying. Any bonds today, scrape up the most you can. This is your fighting man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today. Any stamps today, lend your might, it all helps to fight and keep the Japs away. Brave though the fighting man, he can't make tomorrow's plan, not unless you buy a share of freedom today. First came the Czechs, and then came the Poles, and then came Norwegians with 3 million souls. Then came the Dutch, the Belgians and France, and all of the Balkans with hardly a chance. It's all in a book, if only you look. It's there if you read the text. They fell everyone at the point of the gun. Australia mustn't be next. Any bonds today, all you give will be spent to live in the Aussie way. Scrape up the most you can. This is your fighting man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today.
Any bonds today, will you lend today? You must give all you've got, you must scrape up a lot, lend today. Any bonds today, bonds of freedom, that's what you're buying. Any bonds today, scrape up the most you can. There is your fighting man, asking you to buy a share of freedom today. Any stamps today, lend your money, it helps to fight and keep the Japs away. Brave is the fighting man, give him the help you can. Keep on lending, buy a share of freedom today. Now the Aussie will
with the felt hat and the smile upon his face will now be needing all your help, 'cause he's going someplace. Now the Aussie with the felt hat will be getting on his way, settling Nippon's hash, but he needs your cash. Any bonds today? Any bonds today? That's what you're buying, any bonds today. Save up the most you can. There is your fighting man asking you to buy a share of freedom today. Any stamps today. Lend your money, it helps to fight and keep the Japs away. Brave is the fighting man, give him the help you can. Keep on lending, buy a share of freedom today. Buy that
bond. Well, they were certainly big in those days during the war, weren't they? Buying bonds.
Absolutely.
The big, huge appeals. And
they needed the money, all right.
First victory loan and second victory loan, and
that's
it. Now, wasn't the production values of those Columbia's just amazing, and they sound so well recorded, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And I think we heard they're the Lester sisters, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah. In that we were talking about the Parker sisters before, and that was the Lester sisters.
Oh, the Lester sisters.
Lester sisters, which was the Sydney answer to the
yes, that's right. They used to be on to the Parker sisters.
Yeah, that's right.
They used to be on Laugh Till You Cry, I think.
They did too.
Yeah. And other programs.
Okay.
They certainly were.
Yeah.
Very popular. So there you go. That was Any Bonds Today, and a lovely version.
And don't those Australian laminated pressings just that they're very quiet, aren't they? I mean, there's absolutely no processing on that. It was
those beautiful sounding recordings. The laminate,
they're very good. Well, in
another
my
one.
hands, I have a W&G vinyl from 78 RPM vinyl from when?
Probably 1944, 45.
Yeah, and it's Victory V.
Yes.
Dennis Collinson.
Yes.
Collinson. And the ABC dance band with chorus.
Yeah.
That's all we know.
Yeah. Well, dying to hear this one.
The Victory V song.
Yeah.
With Dennis Collinson.
What is the song? Wrap it up clear so we can hear Victory V. Tap it up loud, tell the crowd, say what it's for. Tap on the door, right on the floor, Victory V. Every hun under the sun, every land under the hand, hear the glad sound, let it resound, Victory V. What does it mean? When is it seen? What is the name? Here's the reply, into the cry, Britain shall win. Rat-a-tat-tat, what is that sound? Rap it out clear so we can hear Victory V. Tap it out loud, tell all the crowd, say what it's for. Tap on the door, right on the floor, Victory V. Every hand under the sun, every land under his hand, hear the glad sound, let it resound, Victory V. What does it mean? When it is seen? What is the name? Here's the reply, it is our cry, Britain shall win.
rat-a-tat-tat, hear it again. People of France, now's your chance, victory be. People of Greece, robbed of your peace, fought not in vain. You played your part, lift up your heart, victory be. Win your defeat, win your retreat, but will unite, rise in our might. Hitler shall fall, this is our call, victory be. Those that we hate, it is their fate, so to begin. Conquer we must, our cause is just, Britain shall win.
Hear it again. People of France, now is your chance, victory be. People of Greece, round of your peace, fought not in vain. You played your part, lift up your heart, victory be. Win your defeat, win your retreat, but when you unite, rise in our might. This shall fall, this is our call, victory be. Those that we hate, this is their fate, so to begin. Conquer we must, our call is just, Britain shall win.
Dennis Collinson there and the ABC National Dance Orchestra.
Don't forget the
National Dance Orchestra. And the Victory V song. Don't know who the vocalist or the chorus was.
It says Victor Moore.
I wonder if that's the composer.
Not Victor Moan.
Victor Moore, it is. Yeah,
Yes.
That's a single-sided W&G recording.
Very good.
And there's something I've never seen these.
And wartime. So
Wartime Fair. Well, the next one's an extraordinary rarity, and I didn't know much about feature radio at all. And you might like to tell the listener.
yes, so feature radio was probably the first, well, apart from 3PB in the 1920s with Austral, but we had in about 1934-35 Lee Murray, who headed up feature radio in Melbourne, and he had the Lee Murray players. Anyway, so feature radio was a recording outfit that recorded commercials and private recordings and also radio programs, and they very seldomly turned up these days. They then eventually became Legionnaire and then became Broadcast Exchange or BEA. So, it's a very interesting period because not much turned up from that period. And what we've got here is I think it's a vinyl pressing on feature radio, and it's now what is it? R.G. Casey and the Commonwealth Loan.
He was the treasurer, wasn't he?
He was the Australian treasurer. Yes, at the time.
Yeah, and this is dated. This record. It says Commonwealth Loan, 1938.
Now, Steve, can you describe the label or what the label looks like?
A very handsome label, nicely appointed, but quite artistically presented. It's a yellow label with red writing, and quite a large label on a 12-inch record, and Feature Radio Sound Production Studios.
Does it have an address?
32 Market Street, Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I think eventually that was the address for Broadcast Exchange.
Okay, so they took
32 Market Street, Melbourne.
No, it's a striking-looking record, to say the least. And so, look, let's have a listen to what Mr. Casey has to say about Commonwealth loans in 1938.
Yes, 80 years ago.
Yeah, some rare Australian history.
I have spoken to you many times before on the subject of Commonwealth loans, but on this occasion the circumstances are rather different. The loan now being offered is partly for defence and partly for public works. We are seeking £10.25 million, of which £4 million is for defence. I need not remind you, I think, of the great defence effort that the Commonwealth Government is making. Our plan for the improvement of our defences is such that it goes beyond what can be financed immediately from revenue, and we find ourselves obliged to seek a moderate amount of loan money in order to press on with the great task of defence as rapidly as possible. Our aim is to make Australia as strong as possible and to do so as quickly as possible. Time is the essence of the problem. National security is the most important matter facing the Australian people today. We are a free and independent people, and we wish to remain so. The Commonwealth asks your patriotic assistance by contributing to this loan. Apart from defence, the balance of this loan is for public works and the like for the Commonwealth and state governments. The state governments require moderate amounts of loan money to carry out essential public works, and the Commonwealth Government has to find money to continue the Farmers' Debt Adjustment Scheme. As I've said before, Australia is a great country that is still in the developmental stage, and there is still a great deal of developmental work to be done that can best be done by governments. In asking you to subscribe to this loan, I would remind you that, apart from its national importance, you will be making as good an investment as can be found in Australia today. I speak as Treasurer of the Commonwealth and as Chairman of the Australian Loan Council, which represents all the governments, Commonwealth and states. This loan is guaranteed both as to principal and interest by all the governments. It is a 3 3/4% loan issued at 99.5, which means that every £100 invested yields £3.15 and 10 per annum. The income will be paid regularly in February and August of each year. The income from investment in this loan carries valuable privileges as to taxation, which do not attach to the income from any other form of investment. It is not subject to taxation by the state governments, and the taxation by the Commonwealth can never exceed a stated rate. As usual, all the great life assurance offices are substantially supporting this loan. These great organizations, which collect part of the people's savings in the form of premiums, have expert staffs to investigate and advise them on the difficult problem of investment. And if they decide to invest their funds in a loan such as this, you can be assured that the investment is a satisfactory one. The great life offices and the banks and other big financial institutions are most valuable and important contributors to Commonwealth loans, but we need more than their contributions. We want the many thousands of small investors throughout the Commonwealth to put some part of their savings into this loan. This is a people's loan, and I ask your individual support for it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all you need. He said it all.
There we are.
All you got to do is
R.G.
contribute.
Casey,
Yes.
and talking about the third loan, Commonwealth loan, and from 1938.
Yeah. And Frank, you said that he later became Lord Casey.
I think he did, Steve. I
Yes.
think he became, after he retired from politics, he became Governor General. I think, if it's the same guy, and I think it is.
I think you're right.
And then he was. I'm not sure. He must have gone to the House of Lords. To be Lord Casey. We can't create lords here. We haven't got the lordy power.
No,
but he was certainly very well known.
He was. He was. Yes.
Well, it's a very historic recording.
I'll check that out on Google tomorrow.
Yes,
that'd be interesting to
That'd be
find
my
out.
homework.
Okay. And we now have an Australian record company, an ARC transcription.
To wind up this little segment and the missions this morning, we have Safer Security, which is these are themes from the Department of Treasury from, again, sort of mid-40s. Don't know who it is. It's a Ryan and O'Flynn composition, that's all I know.
Yes.
Probably the Lester sisters doing the vocal.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Put your pennies away, put your pennies away, put your pennies away. Save, save, save for security, and let your troubles go rolling along. Buy, 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 buy a bond today. Just do the right thing and you can't go wrong. In their maturity, their surety. If you find security, start today from each pay. Put a big slice away and save, save, save for security. And let your troubles go rolling along. And you'll find that you can't go wrong.
on today. Just do the right thing and you can't go wrong. In their maturity, the surety, you'll find security. Start today from each pay. Put a big slice away and save, save, save for security. And let your troubles go rolling along. And you'll find that you can't go wrong.
Okay, there we go. That was an Australian securities record.
Yeah.
Now we're just handing records around here.
We're frisbeeing them across the room.
Now, is that one of Rex Stewart? Or we just
look, it is. That's the sunny side. And here is Bogey Jack.
Bogey, I wonder what happened to him.
Okay, we'll have to hear this. This is a test pressing from
I want to
Rex
know
Stewart.
about Jack.
Okay, well, I think this will have to be our final, folks, because it's witching hour in a few minutes and taxis are waiting and all that sort of thing. So we'll say our cheerios now before playing this.
Thank you for such a wonderful evening, morning, Steve and Frank. It's always such a pleasure to be out here and chatting away, imbibing. What's the word? Imbibing. Yes, thank you, Frank. Imbibing and just enjoying chatting and playing, and
especially to Jamie for sharing his rare collection. It's just such a privilege to hear these records. They are unique, really are.
It's a pleasure to be here face to face.
Oh, look, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
I love
good.
it.
It's the way to do it. It's nice to be able to. Now it's just to be in the scene.
Absolutely.
And all omnipresent. So we'll have to do this again.
Definitely, and thanks for listening, everyone, and for those that listen on the repeat.
Still awake or hearing us on another day, another time.
Right. Yep.
Look forward very much to the next time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
It's
been a great pleasure, and we'll finish up with Rex Stewart, recorded in Sydney on a test pressing from about 1950. This is vk3sl saying cheerio for now.
Along with vk3Jamie.